So we have a non-theist pagan, D, pronoun she, her, in Aya, arguing for existence of spiritual realm that exists alongside the physical, can be accessed through meditation and ritual. Welcome to the show, D.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Okay, I'm going to immediately hand you over to Helen on this one because I think she's got quite a lot to talk to you about this.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Dee. So, tell me your why you think there is a spiritual realm.
I want to make sure you guys understand I did not call in to give you proof, but I did want to argue for the possibility that the spiritual realm does exist. I am a practicing pagan. I'm a non-theist, so I do not believe in any gods. I believe that the spiritual is a realm that responds to meditation and ritual and will. I have had experience interacting with this realm. I do not interact with spirits or personalities at all. This is a realm is the only word that I can kind of come up with. I feel that it is, by definition, non-physical, but accessible, if that makes sense.
Okay, so I was involved in the pagan community for 13 years, and I was a high priestess for 10. So this is something that I also used to believe. And I'm curious as to what experience did you have to, kind of make you feel that this thing, the spiritual realm is something that is part of our reality? Like, what was the experience that you're like, maybe there's something here?
Okay, so I've been solitary and I've been part of a coven. I am not Wiccan. I believe maybe you might be able to apply the word animist to me as well. So I've had several experiences, but one in particular I can share with you. Several years ago, I needed to have a surgery, and when I reported for the pre-op process, they found that my iron level was severely low, very low, so we couldn't do the surgery at that time. And the doctor told me, of course I took iron supplements, but the doctor told me he did not expect me to be able, and my levels were so low, and that was causing other problems too, but my levels were so low, he did not expect that I would be ready for surgery for another 6 to 8 weeks. I did some research, I took my supplements, and I did a ritual that I won't bore you with details there, but my levels increased to normal within 3 weeks, and I was able to get my surgery sooner. And the doctor, the surgeon said he could not explain why my levels had come up so fast.
So the question that comes across my mind with that, Dee, is that, I mean, you were following doctor's orders, which is fantastic. One of the things that really gets me about certain people who believe in the supernatural is that they will use it and only it, and ignore the things that we know about, medicine and science. So thank you for taking those iron supplements. But let me ask you this. Is it possible that the doctor was just being a bit conservative, and maybe you were a bit more your body was a bit more resilient than it thought? Because these things do happen. People recover faster than they initially think. I personally work in a health adjacent field in a charity, so I hear stories all the time of people seeming to make almost miraculous recoveries, but also I hear stories of people suddenly going downhill with no explanation. And my question is, how could we tell whether it was just a bit of a coincidence and a perfectly natural explanation for your iron levels suddenly recovering faster than thought, or a supernatural intervention?
And I agree with you. I cannot discount that possibility. Absolutely.
Okay.
I can only say that is only one experience among many that has returned to me.
And have you ever had a ritual fail?
Ritual fail? Yeah, I've experienced that. Yeah. Okay.
So it doesn't seem particularly reliable, and people tend to count the hits. So I'm actually a proponent of secular practice of religious things, like going through the motions for your own recognizance without believing that they have power. I think it's perfectly fine, especially as a way to sort of honor tradition and keep up these things. But believing that these things have power without having any evidence of it, and in fact seeing them fail as often as they succeed, it does puzzle me slightly that people would still continue to believe something that is so hit and miss.
Sure. And I have, I know one fallacy is listening to you guys and people like Matt and Forrest and Eric. I'm learning about how logic works, and I, definitely having, listened to you all, I'm seeing, the holes in my suppositions. I very much believe in, following doctor's orders, driving on the right side of the road, not sticking my finger in the, electrical socket, but I've found that my pagan practice enhances my experience in the physical world.
So what you're doing, like from a psychological aspect, is that you are priming your brain to do, when you do a ritual, like you're doing a ritual for your health or for anything that we would call manifestation in the pagan community, what you want to bring into your life. What you're basically doing when you're doing these meditative ritual practices is that you're priming your brain. And like this is done through people that do mindfulness meditation. It's the same thing where you want your brain, your consciousness more aware of your environment to, be aware of certain things that you would like to see happen. This is why they always say, like, if you're going to do a ritual for your health, also do what your doctor says. But this might be, but if you're going to do any sort of ritual, even if it has no supernatural process to it, it does bring a calming effect to the body. And it can also help us psychologically deal with the stress of these events in our lives that feel kind of overwhelming, like health crises, losing a job, financial changes, family changes, relationship changes. But this is all a psychological effect. There's nothing really external going on. It is all kind of happening within the brain. And this is not that different from prayer. You know, we want to kind of separate it because, like, well, if it's a spiritual realm or there's some kind of, you know, the secret where you can just, you know, if you ask for something and think about it enough, it will manifest into your life. No, this is a form of psychological priming. You are getting your brain prepared to associate things that you think have supernatural significance when really you've tricked your brain to recognize it. And it feels profound. It feels like something that was supposed to happen because you already have that expectation that it is. When really it's just but because you've gone through the process of doing the ritual, psychologically priming your brain, you are now prepared, on some kind of subconscious level to associate things that seem profound, seem supernatural, seem to be coming from a source outside of ourselves we're bringing it to us when really we have just done psychological trickery. We do this all the time. And it can, and because we are, as Jamie said, you know, hitting the miss, counting the hits and ignoring the misses, they feel significant. They feel really, really deep and profound. And it feels like everything kind of came together. But at the same time, I do agree rituals are very important. I still do ritual. I enjoy doing ritual, but I also recognize that this is something I'm doing to myself, and there's nothing external, supernatural, or anything that's happening. This is the power within myself to bring about change that I want to see, but using my brain power to do it, not doing nothing external. There's nothing outside. You know, there's no gods, there's no spirits, there's nothing. It's just me. And also getting the help from other people along the way, like a doctor or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that all sounds, yeah, I can get with that. And the phrase priming your brain is actually a very apt description of how I have felt about ritual, because we, you know, at least in the group that I practice with, our definition of ritual was the process of preparing your mind to be open to the spiritual possibilities. So in a way, you know, I guess that I'm still looking at priming your brain as being part of, you know, the ritual. But and before you brought me live on the call, I was thinking about the misses, and, you know, understanding that when it's the internal process of getting your brain ready, it's, you know, like anything else, practice makes perfect. That was kind of the way I felt about it, but I definitely understand, yeah, what you're saying about, you know, the brain. And
we would say, all we would say is that, I mean, I know that especially in the sort of internet, like atheism space and the discourse, there's a reputation for people to start like really picking holes in people's, you know, things and almost belittling them, and we don't want to do that here. It seems that you're not. Yeah, and it seems that whether you believe they actually have actual supernatural power or not, you're not letting your beliefs get in the way of things that are provable, which is fantastic, and they have some benefit to you. So all we would ask is, you don't have to stop doing them. I've done rituals in contexts before. I used to do martial arts, and we would bow to our weapons and thank them. I didn't believe that my sword was alive, but it did make me concentrate on the task at hand, which is a really good idea when you're swinging around a 3-foot-long razor blade. And so continuing the rituals is not a problem. All we would ask is, examine your epistemology. Why do you believe what you believe? And are the reasons actually good? And talk to people. Feel free to come onto the Discord and chat to people on there and examine. We have practicing pagans on there as well. It's not just atheists on there, and people at all stages of their deconstruction journey. So you might want to just bounce some ideas off some folks.
Yeah, absolutely. One last thing that I would say is that you were talking about the mindfulness type of meditation. That's I've taken a lot of stuff from Buddhism. Sorry about that.
I mean,
I'm
gone.
Yeah, no, usually when I identify myself, I do say that I'm a pagan Buddhist, but I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to confuse the issue. But you've all given me some very good things to think about and different ways of thinking, and definitely studying my epistemology is a good idea. I'm going to do that.
And if you do end up coming to the conclusion that you are believing in things for less than ideal reasons, please don't beat yourself up about it. We are all susceptible to fallacy. We are but human. And it takes people decades to deprogram themselves from beliefs that they hold, especially ones that they hold very dear.
Yeah. Very long ago, I was a fundamentalist Christian. You could have almost called me a Christian nationalist in some ways. So I've grown a lot from those years.
Yeah, that's an amazing journey you've been on, and you, in doing that, you've exhibited mental fortitude and strength, and like, I'm not jealous as such, but I'm slightly in awe. I haven't had to question myself quite as thoroughly as that. So well done.
Yeah, and also too, like, I want to point out that like I am an atheist, but I still find a lot of enjoyment in pagan rituals and some of the teachings of them. I just let go of all the supernatural things, and I want to emphasize, if you are a non-believer, but there are still things that you really like to do as far as rituals, holidays, things like that, don't stop doing them if they bring you joy, if it makes you feel connection to things. But also realize that this is just something we've been doing since people be people, and it's okay. You can't, again, they're not mutually exclusive. You can have ritual and enjoy doing ritual and also be an atheist. You can do both. So, and they do have benefits, but I always say, like, as Jamie was saying about, question your epistemology. Why do I think this is true? Why do I have this belief? And then, and then walk yourself through those questions. And usually, like, I have found now that there is nothing supernatural. Those rituals actually hold a little bit more significance because it's something that I'm choosing to do. And it's something, I'm not worshiping anything. It's just a part of my life and giving meaning to my existence. And I think that can be just as powerful, as people that claim that, if they go to church every Sunday, that Jesus really likes it when they show up.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for the discussion, and I really
don't hang up, Dee. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop you back into the screen room, into the queue, so the moderators can give you the details for the Discord if you want to get involved with that, because I personally would love for you to get involved with the community. I think you would be a valuable addition. I think you could teach a lot of people some lessons. So I'm going to go ahead and pop you back in there, and thank you, honestly, for calling it.